Hi there, you're at the SUI Wyckoff technical analysis session, and we will look at how SUI coin is performing. Is it actually repeating what it did during May-June time, specifically around mid-May to mid-June? So let's take a look. Here we're looking at the weekly chart of SUI coin, and as of now, it's 3 consecutive weeks of red candles coming down. So in terms of Wyckoff, we're still at the second LPSY in the weekly time frame. However, if we go to the daily in a minute, we'll see that it looks very similar to what it had shown during May-June time. So in the weekly time frame, even though we had a higher peak, it did not differ much back in May-June time. So the key level at 4.32, this purple line over here, I've adjusted a couple of key levels because I've inserted one over here that encapsulates the PSY as well as the SOW. So these 2 points here. So this 2.35, it wasn't at the last session. I made some adjustment to make it clearer because previously I have a box or a channel over here. Now that it's coming down, there are still two support lines before the green key level. So the first one is the 3.27. Previously it rebounded pretty fiercely last week, but this week there's still half a week to go, so it's too early to say, but as of now, it seems the support isn't as high as what we see last week. So this is the first level, the 3.27. If it really comes down to test the low, then there are two support lines that it's going to break if it really comes down. First is this 2.90 key level. The other is this upward trend support line that started back in end of March. So it should be a very strong support at this point if the rest of the week the price really falls through the 3.27 and come down to test this support, and I would assume there should be some clear rebound from there, though it depends on whether there's very negative news coming out. If there's very negative news coming out, then this point may not even be sufficient to keep the price up. So the big picture itself seems like the volume is coming down a bit, even though we've got quite some selling, and especially this long red bar over here, the volume actually wasn't as crazy as what we saw during May-June time. So it's a bit interesting now that is it the supply out there, is it at a low point that the price is being driven so crazily, or is it some other factors that's affecting it? So it's exhibiting a little bit different behavior from a few months back. If we only focus on Wyckoff, supposedly after upwards of the distribution, the price should eventually come down, and indeed, if we just look at this trajectory, we see the peaks even though they are kind of going up. But if I draw a straight line, the peak this time is actually lower than, isn't following the trend basically. So supposedly it should be somehow touching this purple slope, but it doesn't. So is that signifying that the momentum has slowed down and people stop FOMOing in like what they did back in January? Maybe there were quite some people that got in late during the upwards of the distribution, and then at this current point, similar to May-June time when the price got to around the purple key level 4.32, they immediately got out and sort of take a bit of loss and sold whatever they have in hand, and that's why we're seeing these kind of crazy actions. It could be during May-June time some people got in as well, and then now they're releasing what they have. So that's why we have these behaviors. So if there's no big news like Chronos, then this should eventually come down to test these support levels. If what we have seen here, if I marked these phases are correct, that's probably what's going to happen. And then in the daily chart here, previously we asked the question, is it going to come down to show us a sign of weakness? Yes, it's confirmed. Selling climax hasn't happened yet, so we'll keep it here. This LPSY is basically interim phase to this higher one, so I'd rather move it here because that's also an LPSY. So as of now, we don't see any upwards of the distribution, and because of the weekly pattern, the way it's exhibiting us in terms of the price movements, the likelihood of an upwards of the distribution challenging the purple level is lower than the possibility of it coming down. So if it really comes down, then that's the time where we would see selling climax in the daily time frame. So that's how I look at it. And in terms of the volume, the red bars are pretty dominant over here, and I would say let's be cautious what's going to come, because if I check the Bollinger Band corner squeeze, the squeeze happened multiple times earlier. So there was a bit over here, and then we have this leg down, and then a few days back we had another squeeze, and then there's one red candle coming. So right now it's only the top edge that the squeeze isn't that obvious, but it won't be far if it's still narrow trading over here in the next few days. Then the squeeze would happen again, and that may be the next leg upwards if it's like really weakening. Obviously the bulls would hope for a rebound. That could happen as well, but like I said in the beginning, the possibility would be lower than that of coming down. So if it really rebound, there's a chance that it goes up and tests this blue level. So treat that as like 40-60% chance, 40% up here challenge 3.9, 60% chance coming down to challenge 3.27. So I think that's pretty much it for the time being. Just to take note of this happening over here, there's particular lower tops. So here, when it comes to the point, you see this little triangle, the tip of the triangle. That's September 18th. It may happen that, earlier than this one. So either it rebound fiercely to this point from now till mid-September, or the likelihood of it getting down to test these levels would get nearer and nearer. Basically, it's just around 2 weeks time that we have. And then if some people are into candlesticks pattern analysis, that may be a cup and handle, but it's upside down. So some people would think that's going to get to the downside as well. So there are multiple indications, and let's see whether all these textbook theories are correct. So in summary, higher possibility to the downside the way that the chart is coming, and it's repeating what happened back in May-June time. Both the daily chart and weekly chart are showing similar things. You can see the upthrust back in mid-May, and then what we had here late July upthrust, and then 3 LPSYs. Now we've got 2 already. This may be the third one that is coming out within this week, so before our next session that may happen. So I might as well take this opportunity to move this across. So less likely that we see a upthrust of the distribution, more likely that it may show us an LPSY somewhere around this yellow dashed line, and then let me change it to white because there's another yellow down there. So this white dashed line is the resistance, and then eventually maybe it's going to come down to show us a selling climax around the yellow level. So that's it for Sweetcoin for now. Oh, sorry, I forgot to change the chart to this view. So just quickly showing back what I said earlier. So two upthrusts. One is late July, one is mid May, and then eventually 3 LPSYs over here, and we've got 2 already, and now we're likely going to see the third one, and then eventually the selling climax happen. So if it's repeating what happened back in May, June time, that's what I said in the title. Is it going to happen the same way? Maybe it's very likely. So thanks for joining. I'm going to